Thank you, Russell. Joining us now on the phone right now is former Douglas County Judge Jim Miller.
Now, Judge, let's talk about the legal process moving forward. We thank you for taking time with this. As we just heard, the DA expects to charge Austin Sigg, 17 years old, as an adult. Are there special considerations that are involved with this as this case moves forward?
Sure. Without having talked to, first of all, good morning, Mitch. Bertha, how are you?
Good morning.
Without having talked to the DA, of course, the most obvious considerations are, first, the nature of the crime, which is just beyond traumatic and heinous, and also the hope that even though charged as an adult, and even though you cannot rule out the possibility of parole down the road, and partly because you can't rule out the possibility of parole down the road, he'll get some significant treatment through the adult system that he wouldn't have time to get as a juvenile. Those are probably the overriding conditions, but primarily the nature of the crime, I think.
When you say he wouldn't have time to receive this treatment as a juvenile, is that because sentences for juveniles would be that much shorter?
Would be that much shorter, exactly, Bertha. And you just can't get the kind of treatment that, at a minimum, this young man would need if he were to ever be released as a juvenile, given the time constraints.
Yeah. We talked earlier about the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on the death penalty and mandatory life prison sentences for juveniles who are convicted as an adult. How might that impact this case as this moves forward?
Well, just that. He cannot be handed the death penalty as a juvenile, and you can't write off the possibility of parole, whether or not he's ever paroled. In fact, you can't write off the possibility of parole because he is a juvenile, and then that's really biological in nature. It's based upon the court's reading of the studies that show that even at 18, when we are adults under law, our brains just don't work the same way as they do when we're a little bit older, 21 or 22. All of us parents know that. So you can't deny him at least the possibility of parole, and it's biologically based, really.
Judge, there were no cameras in the courtroom, but Russell Haythorne was there and told us that the defense asked the judge to release the suspect with no bond, saying that he has no prior record and that he's not a flight risk, although he did show up in shackles on his arms and legs. Did that surprise you?
Yes, that I wasn't aware of that until now, Bertha. But yes, that surprised me. That's a request not even worth making. Maybe you feel, as defense counsel, you have to make it, and I don't fault them for that. But there's just no way in heck the judge is going to go for that.
Yeah, interesting they even attempted that.
Yeah.
Well, former Judge Jim Miller, thank you. We appreciate your insight.
My pleasure. It's always nice talking to you folks.
Good to talk to you.
Thanks again. Bye.